let me say a special and hearty good morning to one and all. Welcome to another edition of To The Point. Today being Friday, the 21st day of April, within the year 2023. I'm your host, GT. I'll be with you until it's 10 a.m. this morning on this edition of To The Point. Let me say good morning to the listeners this morning via Classic Radio, whether you're listening via 105.5 or 105.9. Good morning and welcome. Thank you so much for choosing Classic Radio. Those of you viewing GBN TV, Channel 7, Channel 11, or Channels 20, I want to wish you a lovely day also. Hope all is well with you. Our social media platforms, whether it's your Facebook page or the YouTube channels, good morning, and welcome. I've been having a guest with me this morning, but for some reason I haven't seen anyone arrive as yet. For whatever reason, I wasn't told why the person is here. And maybe they're running late. I'm assuming probably they're running late. So in the interim, we probably can entertain your phone calls from you listeners, viewers out there. There's probably something you want to chime in on this morning, make a statement pertaining to some particular issue that's going around. A lot's been going around lately. We've seen, of course, an upsurge of violence around the youngsters in school. We've been seeing that. This kind of thing we're not happy to hear about. I think there's more that young people could be focused on. Maybe we've been seeing it continue to happen. And maybe what we could see, maybe probably you're saying to yourself, why is we not seeing a curve in it for whatever reason? That downward trend are not happening at all. We continue to see the incidents of vehicle accidents. Had a chit chat with the police yesterday, and of course they spoke a lot. The particular officer that was in yesterday spoke a lot about that in terms of the do's and don'ts. And so probably just have something you want to chime in on this morning. Feel free to give me that call, 435-2041, 435-2041. I think we do have a caller online. Let me make sure my line is cleared. And we could probably entertain this first caller. Caller, good morning and welcome. How are you this morning?
And morning to your listeners and morning to your viewers. Now, there's quite a few things I would like to talk about, but I know I don't have the luxury of that.
Well, I would like to let's see how far you can go. Let's see how far you can go this morning, as much as you can get. Go right ahead. Kick it on. Get the ball rolling.
Give other people a chance. I will start by saying, reiterate the fact, the problem we see, one of the major problems, we've been a pretentious people, pretending that we're not even pretending. Earlier in the week, we had a symposium in Trinidad as a region. I think as a Caribbean person, not just as a Grenadian person. So if something is happening in the name of the Caribbean and CARICOM, I'm interested. And they had minimum coverage of what was happening in Trinidad. You had these leaders and them, including our own leader, I suppose, talking about crime and violence, and also coming up with a statement of fighting, declaring war and violence or war and crime. I don't know. I'm confused more than anything else after this. But what I'm trying to get to is to say that despite the wastage of 2 days, we are nowhere better in terms of a path forward, in terms of what we're going to do. Because these folks are still waiting on Uncle Sam for assistance. The same source, the main culprit or the main source, I'm not saying the exclusive source, because we have to take responsibility for our part. Because the arms are manufactured up north, and out there. Of course, they didn't put it in our hands. We took it and put it in our hands and kill each other. But we know there's only one part of the violence. So to begin with, nobody wins a war. And anytime I hear anybody talking about declaring war, I know they're jokers. And the Caribbean leaders are jokers. They're not interested in solving our problem. Because they would have heed the advice of the late Singing Sandra. What we have to do is to come together as a people, admit that we have failed each other in terms of our respecting our humanity. We have gone for the dollar. We have gone for things. We have disrupted our society for all kind of reasons. We have no form of community anymore. This is what we have to be building, so that what happened this week with the youngster would not happen at that scale. This is not the first time something in the Caribbean happened. A few weeks ago, somebody sent me a video of a Jamaican schoolboy. He must have been not more than 10 years. And this young boy, even the teachers couldn't stop him. The guard, the security guard, he was determined to kill another student. I mean, we have to really do something about it, not out of fear, not out of rage, but out of understanding. There's an African proverb that says, not to know is bad, but not to want to know is worse. And we are people that don't want to know what's in, because we like to run to something in the sky, hoping that we will get salvation from that, instead of dealing with the problem that we face here. We have set the motion of this. No country that was invaded by the Americans could end up having peace. Whether it's, all the countries, think of all the countries that have been invaded over the years. They're in turmoil. So why we think we have to be different? We could resolve the situation by admitting that we were wrong in a lot of ways, and we pretended. We pretended that we were rescued. We pretended that we would be, impacted in a positive way. We are not. The last thing I want to say, we have our children exposed to all the violence, whether it's theater of war or movies and so on. We behave violent with each other, and we expect our children to be peaceful. We need to be honest. We need to come to our senses. We need to understand that children live what they learn, and it didn't just come from the sky. So thank you very much, GT, for having the patience with me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you certainly did make some relevant points there this morning, in terms of the violence that we are seeing lately that are happening with young people, not only here in Grenada, but, around the Caribbean. And what could we do to get that downward curve? What could be done? Let's entertain another caller. Caller, you're so welcome. Good morning. Welcome to The Point. It was my fault there. Good morning to you, caller. Welcome to The Point this morning. How are you?
Morning, GT. How's everything?
I'm doing okay.
I'm blessed.
All right.
No, I'm a retired for a few years right down myself education and other members of my company where I worked for the past years. And I call on the Caribbean leaders to lobby for we as a people, and also the Attorney General in every state in the Caribbean and the OECS. Because CLICO has some money for we something years ago. Not give us a cent when the month up. But the company has management robbing money still, and we can't get nothing. I find, and we come down with the bring us now living in poverty at some time in life, where we save money when we was working hard to get when we retire. And today now when we retire, we can't get nothing from Kiko. We get the last of 5 cases, so we something years no and nothing coming. But when it's time that the Caribbean leaders put things in place to take up on Kiko, either sell the company what they have and pay people the money, and something that be done. Because they ain't getting no help when they month up. And they pay the workers every month from the same money which was saved in the past years gone by. And they're robbing millions upon millions in the company. And if someone will get jailed for it in any case, one in Miami from Trinidad in the past who robbed all the money from there and go in Miami. Now they put the company in Barbados. They still robbing money inside in Barbados. And we as members who put money inside there as people who, we can't get nothing. I find it's time that something has to be done, Even GSL, a company again coming green again and rob about the money and they go and nothing has been done after that. I feel it's time that the Caribbean leaders put in place and jail all them guys and them who to rob people money and go with it as Caribbean people. Because when people rob money in the big world and think, how many years they find them and they give them penalty still. But why we don't give them the penalty of black people in the Caribbean who rob money and living free?
All right, caller. All right, man. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. And that's could be an entire program. They're talking about the CLICO issue again, and that could be an entire program to talk about that. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome. Good morning to you, caller.
Just one moment, please.
It's Classic 105. Let me say good morning to those of you via our social media platform. Cynthia, good morning to Erlin. Deanne, good morning to you folks. Thanks for being part of it. Certainly we'll get to your comments shortly. Good morning to you, caller. Welcome.
Hi, good morning. Good morning to you and all your followers. There's a lot of outcry on the violence, and violence is not a very it is a sad thing when there is that level of violence in our society. We have to look at it in a very, a holistic way. We hear many people are mentioning individual things that are contributing towards it. Yes, what we're seeing in the media and so, and even in social media especially. But I think a fundamental problem we've had, and it's a storm that has been brewing for over 20 years. And it has to do with the absence, especially with the boys, and also with girls, is the absence of male influence in our society, where it matters most. In the church, in the home, and in the school. I remember 20 years ago when there was this, this talk about men being at risk and we have to do something. I mean, there are many young boys who are growing up today. They don't have any kind of male figure in their lives. In the past, when you had the extended family, many of them had an uncle or somebody like that. But these days, young women are moving out and renting apartments, and they, by themselves with their kids, as single mothers. And the children are exposed to a lot of negative influences of men coming and going and things of that sort, violence even against their own moms. And when they come to school, there is no male influence. Most schools, and it's affecting sports as well. I heard the Prime Minister speak about, trying to teach them those things in the school. Who in the school will teach them that? These boys especially. 20 years ago, I said that we have to give incentives to keep men in our schools. I don't believe that force will do it. I'm not saying they have to be physically tough and handle the boys in a rough way, but that influence and the kind of conversation that men and boys can have that they need, especially if they're not getting it in their home and they're not churchgoers and getting it from the people in the church. The school is where they spend most of their time. And we see it happening among the school kids. They are frustrated. Some of them are angry. But they have no way, no avenue of letting that out, to talking to someone who can help them through this. We cannot bring a counselor in every school for every problem. But if we had done what we were supposed to do 20 years ago, and we tried to encourage more of our young males to get into education, be there with the boys, help them, support them, we would not have the situation we have now. Right now, it's very late. And as a matter of fact, most of the guys we have now, they were raised by women. So, no offense meant, but they are not even real men. They are taught by women in the schools. They are raised by women in their homes. And everywhere around them, the influences are women. So I think it's a very serious problem. Very serious problem. We can talk about it and say things, but I think it springs to a great extent. We can talk about the church and spirituality and so, but to a great extent it has to do with the absence of that positive male role model in the lives of these guys. An emptiness they feel, a frustration, and the lack of someone to really speak to who can guide them and encourage them in the right path. That's my contribution to this.
Thank you, Colin.
It's only a part of it, but it's a major, major part.
Thank you so much for your contribution this morning.
You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. 445-2041, 445-2041. And everyone seems to be passionate about this. What is that main influence that is causing youngsters to be the way that they are today? In terms of the violence, and I take a little bit back in terms of one of the contribution from the caller that said, I think a mom, or whether it's a single parent being a mom or not, she could have not always you need a male figure to get a youngster being the way they are. Yes, some will say the moms are soft and some will say that's, but there are some tough moms too who could have their sons if the male figure is the one that is given that problem. But they are parents who being single parent and moms and can certainly raise that son or daughter correctly in a way. So not always a man is needed, So I probably differ with you on that point. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes. Domestic items, food items, groceries going up by the fortnight. Poverty is accompanied with violence. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Some valid points there also. 435-2041, 435. We probably could take another caller before we take our first break in this segment. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Telesford. Greetings. I want to congratulate the inputs of a couple of previous callers, the penultimate and, of course, the first one. I do share their views, but there is something, Mr. Telesford, in what we call, quote-unquote, democracy. Democracy, the rule of the people. Now, you look around the world, and you see when there are major problems in certain parts of the world, the big leaders get together. They get together and they talk about it. You look into a private firm right here in Grenada, and you see there's a situation in the firm, or the business place or whatever, and the management gets together with the stakeholders, the players, those involved, and they discuss the matter and they thrash it out. Listen to this. Our leaders got together in Trinidad and Tobago, and they discussed the question of violence. But where does the violence emanate? It emanates amongst the people. Have we been making efforts to find out this major question? Why these young men and women are behaving as they are? Have we ever sought to find out from them, sitting before them publicly and asking them, giving them an opportunity to talk to us and tell us why? We ought to know. We suggest that it may be the influence of the social media and the television. Of course, these may be, but we have to find out from them. I wish to suggest the following to this new administration. Let us sit collectively and speak to the perpetrators of these acts in public. We have a huge national stadium. Or if we desire, let us begin in the communities, but let us talk to them. Let them tell us what is really happening in their minds. And right there, this is what I strongly believe, because you see, and this, to end, I say, this constitutes an act of democracy. One of the hallmarks of democracy is an informed citizenry, so that the people know what's happening, so that they can contribute effectively to bring about solutions. This is what is missing in this country. But the demagogues take power, and they know everything, and they want to do this, and they want to how they see it without involving the people. Democracy, down with colonialism, into true democracy, and that will begin to resolve our problems in this here country. Have a nice day, William, Mr. Telesford.
Have a great day yourself also, sir. We drew for a break. We take it. When we come back, we take more of your calls here on To The Point this morning. We coming right back. Stay with us.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and the regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, when you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
customers and experts have tested Dormer's high-impact windows and realized just how durable they are. Forget burglar proofing. Get 20 years warranty on frames, sea blast resistance, no rust or corrosion, and value for your money. Visit Caribbean Shutters, Windows and Doors for Dormer's quality UPVC solutions.
You know, one day I woke up and, you know, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. You know, nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
That's why I say welcome back, listeners and viewers. It's To The Point, an open line edition for today, Friday, the 21st day of April. Before we entertain another phone call, let's entertain some of the comments via the Facebook page. A couple of folks been commenting. Let's take this one from Deanne. She's saying, I think there should be some form of legislation on the posting of violent content. With freedom comes responsibility. That's in her humble opinion. We continue to name our sporting groups Warriors. What do Warriors do? Just say that I remember living in a neighboring country years ago, and any group including buses, had to change their names. All right, that's a point. Also, find the cause. That's what Allison is saying. Find the cause. Why are they behaving like that? Nutrition, good food plays a great role in children's behavior. Their brain needs good food to function and think right. We have Anders saying, where is the man as soon as the woman say pregnant, they disappear? So sad. And this is Cheyenne is saying the music plays a critical part in these juvenile mental state of thinking. They try to act what they listen to and believe me. That's what she's saying there also. So that's just some of the comments there via the Facebook page. Let me see if we could grab another one before we entertain the calls. I think there are many violence I think with the many violence we've been having is a lack of activities involving the young people. I remember in the revolution there was community groups as the NYO, the Pioneer, the cadets, many of the sporting games amongst the parishes. Was always something to keep you occupied. If you're not going to a game, you're either going to a meeting, so you don't have time to fight each other. Let's entertain a call. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Telesport. How are you?
I am doing fine. Go right ahead.
I have two pieces to speak about this morning. First, I want to speak about the arrogance of the young people. For me, a lot of young children getting they involved in smoking weed, and the weed that some of them smoking don't grow and in the soil, they grow in lab. And you hear a caller mention about nutrition. Some of the home, these children not getting a balanced diet, so they brain weak, and to come and get this lab weed is having them very arrogant. So I wish they could find out where this lab weed coming, because we don't have lab here to grow weed. It's in the soil. So if they could get the source where this lab weed coming from to give our 10, you won't believe here 9-year-old boys smoking with 10, 11, 15 years, young children. And as I say, the nutrition is not helping the brain. So they're going to be, as they smoke, they're going to be in a high in a high attitude to them think, like the brain are helping them to think. And the next part is I would like the bank to put some more money, because Grenadians sit down all the years, our young men and women see, and foreigners coming and getting loan in the bank so easy. So these children go to school and they learn to read and write. They have the brain now, and they see how they could get a lot of money to lend now. So if the bank puts some more money in the bank, if one Grenadian man gets a $3 million loan, he should have more money in the bank. So when the next one come to lend, we will have all this big commercial and radio. So how much a Grenadian man gets, and the next one come and they can get. So I beg in the bank to put some more money, so Grenadian people come and they know what is the value of taking loan to do business in Grenada, so we won't have this problem with how much money one man takes and the next one can get.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution. 435-2041. I don't think I need to respond. 435-2041. 435-2041. We're taking your calls, the open line edition of To The Point this morning. And the conversation seems to be leading, directly more to the violence that we are seeing, continue to occur and reoccur with young people, and what are the solutions that we could come up with as people? And, from one caller, my first caller did make some valid points. Sometimes I think our leaders and so forth are not giving the people the option or given or the consideration, for use of a better word in there, consideration of listening to our plight. So sometimes, that individual who's talking could say something that could curb the problem, but sometimes leaders, they think, the regular people may not be saying something that is valid enough, but sometimes we could say stuff that, being regular citizens, say something that could help to curb the problem. And if we sit and listen and to what the problems also, as one caller alluded to, if we sit and listen to what's the problem, what's the source cause, what's the root cause of the problems we see youngsters are getting themselves involved in, we probably could find out why the violence that they're getting to is at the nature which is at. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Boy, nobody can stop our going, and you believe in the scripture, children have to be making children, they can't rule children. Woman, why them is just about 40 years, and they are 10, 12 children at football field. Oh, they couldn't, you understand? Women, men. You have to take that scripture must fulfill. Yes, you have to pray and all them things. You have to believe there is a God, supreme being. But
all right,
you can't blame teacher, you blaming prime minister, you whipping everybody. Well, more the big world too. America and England, Russia, all them places are causing all this thing, them big rulers, they control the small one. America come, they lick up, yes, they come and do something, they lick up, and they're in trouble. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your contribution also, caller. 435-2041, 435-20 for an open line edition up to the point this morning here on the Classic Radio. Also, we're live on GBN TV. Let me say good morning to those of you via our social media platform, Facebook, our YouTube channel. Good morning to you. Thanks for being with us this morning. 435-2041. Feel free to give it a call and state your views, your concerns, of course. And seem to be violence among young people, seem to be dominant contributor this morning from individuals who are calling in. Let's entertain another caller this morning. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. It seems to me that the violence among youth is generated by the use of the cell phone and the internet, and the quality of hip-hop and soca music played on the many radio stations, no censorship whatsoever. It's about sex, about breaking the law, mashing up this, mashing up that. And we're getting into the real season now of the so-called Spice Mass. everything about Spiceman to my mind is nastiness. Corrupt music, nasty music, dirty music, bad lyrics, and as a matter of fact, all children whining and jumping and doing all kind of thing. And we have lots of biological parents, only biological parents. They are not social parents, they are not intellectual parents, they are not economic parents, biological parents. So children making a massive confusion that we're in. We're in real trouble. Thank you.
Thank you also, caller, for your contribution there this morning. 435-2041, 435-2041. Let's entertain another caller this morning. Caller, you're welcome.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, sir. I agree to this last caller. Children making children. And agencies are helping to mind those children. So you're encouraging the children to make more children. And as the minister said, they have 10 and 12 children, and they've been getting support. Furthermore, too, in the schools, you have more female teachers. I don't know why. Maybe they're more intelligent than men. And they might be setting bad examples. They cannot control the children in this class. Long ago, I don't even know what long ago means. Used to have class teachers. In other words, a teacher responsible for his or her class. Nowadays, you have class teaching. So there is no constant role model in that class. Now, you might be wondering what I mean by constant role model. A teacher set the pace and the pattern of his class long ago. Nowadays, every teacher has his or her own way of setting the pattern. Maybe so the child seems to be confused. And this is what is helping to bring this bad blood in the schools. Furthermore, we have people in the area, they fight, who man and woman fight in the school, in the area, in the surrounding. And people or children are looking at that. And sometimes they go to court, and the child is living in the home. They pelt out the man, and then the father has to still maintain the child. And the mother isn't doing nothing. So then the child loses, the mother and father lose control of the child. So the child clings to the mother. We have many reasons why do that. In fact, some politicians too, they take sides. And even some policemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution this morning also, caller. We drew for a break. Let's take it. We're coming right back. Stay with us here on To The Point for Today, Friday.
Grenada.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, when you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
Customers and experts have tested Dormer's high-impact windows and realized just how durable they are. Forget burglar proofing. Get 20 years warranty on frames, sea blast resistance, no rust or corrosion, and value for your money. Visit Caribbean Shutters, Windows and Doors for Dormer's quality UPVC solutions.
You know, one day I woke up and, you know, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. You know, nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
Hey, welcome back, listeners and viewers. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio and the GBN TV. 25 minutes moving up before the top 10. This program goes up until it's 10 a.m. It's an open line edition this morning, which means callers and you're there, or should I say listeners and viewers, you have the option of calling in and share your views and concerns. Let's grab some of the comments via the Facebook page before we entertain another caller. And we have Cynthia B saying, in schools, we need to have both males and females as principals and vice principal. Not two males or two females, one of each as head. And we have Deborah saying, no, the last caller is talking. You know that charity begins at home. Can't blame the teachers. 445-2041, 445-2041. And we also have Cynthia saying, we heard PM Watley at the meeting in Trinidad in regards to Calypso being composed and played. Let's entertain this caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Telesford, I beg your indulgences for a minute.
Go right ahead.
Nothing more. Listen, Mr. Telesford, it is written somewhere about in that good book, quote unquote, that he that seeketh knowledge getteth understanding. Let us be clear. Nothing can be, as a matter of fact, first I should say, no one can teach anything. I want to stress on this. No one can teach anything if they do not understand it. You see the importance of understanding. No problem can be resolved. This is significant also. No problem anywhere in mechanics, in carpentry, in economics, if solved nor resolved, should I use the two verbs, if there isn't a clear understanding. Now, where do you get the understanding? Why has there been research over the years and development to get a full understanding of how things work so that proper decisions, and I stress that word, proper decisions can be made? This is why I stress, Mr. Telesford, we have to talk to the people so that in synergy, left and right, backward and forward, the information flow, that we have an idea on either side what is wrong. If we do not get into the problem, we cannot resolve it. We are attending the things in this here country too superficially, with everybody giving it, yes, interesting that you have ideas, that's good. But we only supposing what in play here, supposing what is happening in young men's and young women's head of this country. Let us talk to them in, you know, this is a word I really like. I mean, the concept, particularly, a lawyer joke, as they do in Afghanistan, although they hardly resolve anything. But I think based on our population, we can, because we know each other. Let us face each other, ask questions, and answer the questions among us. It's the only way we can correct the problems of this country, because there are many. Thank you very much, Mr. Telesford, and do have a nice day and a weekend, the proper weekend.
You too, sir. All the best. 435-2041, 435-2041. Open line edition of To The Point this morning here on Classic Radio and GBN TV. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Listen, I blame us parents. The problem is parents. The problem is home. The problem is parents, and the problem is home. Children learn where they live. And it's as simple as that. We parents have failed them. Have a good day.
Thank you also for your contribution this morning. Parents and home. You know, you could have a different opinion on that, you know. There are parents who have brought up their children the best way possible. There are homes that and parents who live within the home that have been teaching their children to have the best behavior. But sometimes they do have the other influences that pops in and create the problem that we've seen right now. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, okay. I think looking at Grenada, Grenada is just a small little island. And I believe the problem that we have with the younger generation of the youth is I don't think it's a major problem at the moment. I think what we need to do is to put proper systems in place in terms of starting from the government, set down certain rules and laws and regulations in place. You got society as well who has to take the bull back by the horn and deal with it. You know, years ago when I was growing up, I know in the village where I grew up, you had to respect others. And if you do anything wrong or say anything wrong in front of others and they chastise you, you will get the next one if you go home and report it. Now the point is they take the power away from the parents, they take the power away from society, they take the power away from the teachers. So at the end of the day, the children now feel free to do what they want. So I believe at the end of the day, we cannot live our life based on the outer world. The outer world used to eliminate the way we live here. I remember years ago as a young kid growing up, you used to have boats coming here with children, delinquent children, just to see how we in the Caribbean live our life, to get them changed. Now we seem to following them.
Could I ask you one question?
Yeah.
You mentioned a while ago that Grenada is a small country, but are you saying that we don't have rules and regulations here?
Yeah, we do have rules and regulations, but what I'm saying, they took the power away from the parents, from the society. I mean, look, in most villages now, if you have an issue with a little child, the first thing parents come and chastise you, want to do whatever necessary in terms to feel that you can't touch my child, you can't hit my child. Yes, I know it's your child, but your child was doing something wrong. But today is everything happens.
All
everything
right.
goes. So I believe it's something, if they put rules and laws and regulations and try to give a little power back to the teachers, give a little power back to society. If you get a situation where someone or a teacher or an individual has been abusing a child, then you deal with it straight up.
But Kola, don't you also feel the problem is probably the enforcement of the rules and regulations? Do you think that could be the problem? Maybe be the problem.
Could you repeat that?
I'm saying, would you like to say, or would you believe that saying that maybe enforcement of the rules and regulations could be our problem?
Well, yes, you can see it from that perspective. You understand? But I think when you look back at Grenada, as I say, isolated problems we have. It's not happening on a day-to-day basis and all over Grenada.
All right.
But if you put the right rules and laws and regulations in place, knowledge is power. And there are kids in school. They come home, they come to school and they're frustrated. You go to school and you see there is a child that is not acting the way he or she is supposed to should be acting. You have somebody who identified, pull them into the classroom and into a special room and chat to them, find out what the problem is. And then you'll find it's something, because that child could be out in the yard and had this problem where they feel frustrated, and the next child come and make a joke with them. And right there they start a fight.
All right.
Only because the child have a problem that was not being identified that they could discuss and solve the problem. Anyhow, one of the problems I want to say, I'm looking at, we have something unique in Grenada right now. That I traveled to the Caribbean, and there is no part of the Caribbean, or probably could even go as far, no part of the world has seen it. And I don't know if the Commissioner of Police or the Traffic Department have identified that. Is that little booth that they have at the junction to Scott Street? It seems as though they seem to want to get rid of it. I passed it this morning, and there was a pole in front of the vision of the police giving traffic. He has to be bending forward to call us down from Lucas Street. You mean they could not erect that pole with a curve so the police have a straight view of the traffic coming down from Lucas Street? I believe somebody got to look into it and change it. That pole, I felt sorry for the police because he has to bend forward to call us down from Lucas Street. And they wreck a pole right in front of his vision.
All right.
This is something that all these things should be looked at. So I believe at the end of the day, the Commissioner of Police, the Traffic Department, look at it and do something different.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution this morning, caller. 435-2041, 15 minutes moving up, be for the top 10. And whoever rolls up to the top 10. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Again, I want to support you, when you before with the caller about the role of women and all of that. It's always easy to put the blame on somebody. Just as the man in the scripture says is the woman, and then the woman said with the animals or the beast. That's what we do. The problem is that we are not responsible people. We always look how we deal with our litter. I mean, you hire a truck, somebody to dispose garbage in the landfill, and when he goes in the first place that he thinks nobody would see him. I mean, we are very reckless people. So, I mean, there's so many things that, I mean, we have not really held one another accountable to. And we pretend, and anything like what happened this week, we become emotional, we get quiet again, and we go about our cozy own business. But we need to really face reality. We have not been honest. And this thing about taking away power from people, nobody took away power from anyone. We destroyed the society. We've celebrated it. I mean, violence. When the Americans come, we say, God bless America. We even have a holiday. We justify the killing of people in the mental hospital. We do all kind of nonsense. And then there was a situation where an American soldier shoots a youngster in Grenville police station. The Americans said, you can't try him here. We're going to try him abroad. I mean, what kind of nonsense? I've raised that years and years, and all the leaders, and we tried to find out, but that was public. So I'm saying that we have to come straight. We have to be honest, and we're not. This is what we're lacking, and we have to stop the pretense. I can go on and on, but thank you. I want to defend the women. The women, I mean, you blame the women. My mother grew me up. Six of us. One died in a tragic accident. And look at me today. My mother died before I was 14. Look at me today.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Whatever.
All right. 445-2041. Let me see if I can grab some of the comments from the Facebook page this morning, the comment section. We have Alton saying, you have these young people come on beyond the headlines and talk to them about the problems. GBN should stop praising all the sports children and ignore the others who are doing good in other things. All right. We keep talking in circles. Every time the topic comes up, it's always the same voices giving the same response, and we ask the same question. It's time for action. And we have Alson popping and saying again, today's children will fight you, and all who try to fight all who try to correct them. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, welcome. Good morning. Welcome to The Point.
Good morning. How you doing, brother?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, we're talking about the kids behaving bad in school, and you're surprised and we can't believe it. But I'm not surprised. Because remember that kids and them, I remember having a conversation with a teacher during the COVID and the strike, when the teacher strike. And he said he had about 30 kids in his class. And on Zoom, you only seeing 10. The other 20 gone. Doing what nobody knows. So I believe when kids go on the block, they interact with big men, they in gang, they in all sorts of things right now. And to me, they are big people right now. So if you're not in a class and a teacher tell them what to do, it's like kind of difficult right now. So they resort to, doing their own thing, fight, chop, sexual activities or whatever. So I think that we have to, more or less, we rewind those kids to them. Have a sit down with them and talk with them, get them back on track. Because just put them in a classroom and say, let's do this and let's do that, they ain't going to work right now. You just have them in a little group and sit them and counsel them, I would say. Rewind them. Because they into so much of big people stuff right now. They're liming, they're drinking, they're smoking, they're doing everything. So to really actually controlling them right now is kind of difficult.
All right.
And I don't know how the teachers are really doing it, because kids, they're not kids. They are big people. So it's kind of difficult, brother. It's difficult to deal with the kids right now. I'm on a hot pictures dealing with that kids and everything today because I'm not a couple kids and boss man is just difficult to even deal with them.
All right, man.
On a daily basis, much as to have them in a classroom for a day. So I don't know. It's a whole thing you have to rewind them and the parents have to come in and it's a whole network you have to get involved. The parents, the teachers, the counselors, everybody have to just do their job.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Thank you so much.
Have a nice day, brother.
All right. We do have another comment via the WhatsApp is saying, I think Grenada is too soft on crime. Imagine after receiving such a serious trouble, the young man publicly threatened to kill the next one. Isn't that a crime too? That's a comment there from someone via the WhatsApp. Let's see if we could grab another comment via the Facebook page before we entertain another caller. And we have to start with the parents for being more involved with their children because in reality, how many times a parent gets to spend with their children? Taking time on trips, getting them involved in music or in particular sports they be interested in. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to the point this morning. Good morning to you, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning again.
Very quickly. I've heard a number of folks refer to consultation with the youth. And there is some merit in that. But you know, the problem I see from that is that we believe that they are the problem. The violence and everything we're seeing there is not the problem. These are symptoms of a problem we have created. Right? So we know what the problem is. They are not the source of the problem. So talking to them, it may give us a few little insights. But this is not the problem. And that's the problem with us. We look at the symptoms and think it is the problem. The violence is not the problem. The violence is the result of a breakdown in our society, the ignoring of a number of important structures that were there that have been allowed to go to disappear unattended to, the infiltration of the media and other things uncontrolled. These are the problems, not the violence. So yes, we can talk to them and we can get insights from them. But if we want to solve the problem that has resulted in that sort of behavior, we have to go deeper than the children. We have to go further than them. Because they are not the problem. They are victims. And they are not the problem. That is my position.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution this morning. Thank you so much. Moving up 10 minutes, which means we only have approximately 5 more minutes that we can accommodate more phone calls. We're going to take a break, which should be our final break for this segment, and we come back with our final segment of calls. Stay with us, folks. We're coming right back.
Camp it.
You know, one day I woke up and, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. Nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop. Look. Hand out. Eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Mr. mentioned the wing high, then you have things like man, you must come back, We have the low power that.
When you push your push up, it is kind of like the same man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for a piece of cake. I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page, and YouTube channel for We Culture.
Join us on Caribbean Medical TV as we discuss a topic close to the heart of our Caribbean.
Hey, welcome back to listeners and viewers this morning. It's the final segment of To The Point this morning, which we just have time, maybe just around 5 minutes or so to accommodate any phone call for anyone who wants to call in. 435-2041. Good morning to you, caller. Welcome.
Yeah, I want to talk about the minimum wage consultation, where the government announced these consultations, and it's only 6. Now, I find that it's not sufficient enough, because a serious thing like minimum wage there must be more consultation, so they ain't ready yet. Also, the people that when you look at the numbers of the people that attended the consultation, I'm not blaming the government for the numbers that turn out. It's very low. So it's two things. The government needs to have more consultation. 6 is not enough, and more people are asked to participate. So that's a way I'm asking the people to participate. Because I want to say to the government, I remember with the marketing board consultation, the goodly gentleman came, and before on opening of the meeting, he outlined 3 positions. And to me, that is exactly what he said. That was done. So, and then they talk about consultation. That's not consultation. You don't come up with your ideas in your head already. That is deception. So I don't want it to happen like that. I just hope and trust that after all these consultations with more people, then you come up with a minimum wage. But I really have no confidence in them to begin with. And also, I have no problem with a minimum wage, because I think probably need to be deserved in truth. But they have to take into consideration that the companies and people's ability to pay. To begin with, I find that they should try to see if they could grow the economy before you start think about minimum wage. Or how you know that these companies are able to pay what you're speaking to. I know they still going to have consultation with employers. I ain't really seen that yet so far. Well, how do you know that the companies are able to pay? Did you examine the company's financial records and all these things before you come up? Also, there's a lot of things to be had. And let me tell you something. You think what exactly is going to happen is that you might have unemployment, because if a company look and they see that when they're operating costs, when they do the financial statements, they tell them cut on this, cut on that, and where you have to cut. First thing is the workers, you know. So I would prefer to have 10 workers at $800 than one worker at $1,600 or whatever the higher figure, because you're reducing unemployment. So I think that they should look at that, because people are going to cut back on the amount of staff. They're going to have one person doing 10 people work, because they can't afford to pay. And you hear every morning, Monday morning is a restructuring and we can't do nothing. So I think the best thing to do is probably it must be fair and balanced. It must be proper consultation, not what happened to the marketing board or what I see happening now. That's just mama guiding people. Have proper consultation with people. I don't mind them introducing new areas and so on, whatnot, new category of workers. But it must be done properly. I am not seeing that it's done properly. Have more consultation. 6 is not enough. Try to see if you can get as much possible people to participate. I mean, you don't have no control over that. But
Caller, take another 10 seconds and wrap, please.
And then when you finish now, it must be equitable so people will be able to pay. Otherwise, it's going to backfire on you, and you're going to have more unemployment, because people will just start restructuring because they can't afford to pay. So I think they better look at that.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. It's moving up. We have 3 minutes before the top of the hour. We probably can entertain just one more caller. I should have cancelled off by now, but let's just entertain one more caller as a bonus this morning, and then take this final caller. Caller, good morning, welcome. Be brief, and be brief, please. Good morning to you.
Yeah, further, I was trying to get in, but let me say, the area of the violence among the children.
Caller, caller, 1 sec, would you mind lowering that radio in the background, please?
One Mali have a song that says, if you get up on your quarrel every day, you're saying prayers to the devil. A lot of people don't understand. In Revelation, it says that the people who accept the mark of the beast are the ones who deal with the wine, the fornication, and all the evil that the world. So you don't expect to get good if you wake up every day and quarrel, you know? So that's my little piece. I had more, but
All right.
time.
Thank you so much, Kola. Thank you so much. Hey, folks, as we get set to wrap today's edition of To The Point, thanks for all who participated on today's program, whether you called in, you sent your comments via the Facebook, the WhatsApp. Thank you so much for being part of To The Point today. Been a pretty interesting week we had this week. Certainly lots of great, of course, guests pop in this week and so forth, and we are certainly happy for that. Join us again. That will be on Monday of next week for another edition of To The Point. Have yourself a great day. What's left of it, be good to yourself and others. Thank you so much for being part of To The Point today. That's why I say goodbye. Have a pleasant day. What's left of it once again, and a great weekend to come.